Last week, the Surgeon General also was asked on MSNBC about Joe Rogan's vaccine comments on Spotify, and he said that tech companies have an important role to play in stopping misinformation because they are the predominant places where misinformation spreads. Spotify is putting out advisory warnings on episodes that have to do with COVID-19.
Time for another edition of What Would Jell-O Do? I start with a question.
Does the White House and the administration think this is a satisfactory step?
2 egg mayonnaise, a prawn Goebbels, a Hermann Goring, and 4 colded sellers. 4 colded sellers. 4 colded sellers.
Or do you think that companies like Spotify should go further than just putting a label on there to say, hey, go do your own, check this out. There's more research you can look at, scientific research regarding COVID.
Sure. Well, last July, you probably know, but the Surgeon General also took the unprecedented step to issue an advisory on the risk of misinformation in public health, which is a very significant step. And amid that, he talked about the role social media platforms have. So our hope is that all major tech platforms and all major news sources, for that matter,
Ivermectin. Why are people taking livestock formulations of ivermectin?
Be responsible and be vigilant to ensure the American people have access to accurate information on something as significant as COVID-19. That certainly includes Spotify. So this disclaimer, it's a positive step, but we want every platform to continue doing more to call out mis and disinformation while also uplifting accurate information. I mean, look at the facts, right? You are 16 times more likely to be hospitalized if you're unvaccinated and 68 times more likely to die than someone who is boosted if you're unvaccinated. That's pretty significant, and we think that is something that unquestionably should be the basis of how people are communicating about it.
They'll breed in the mattress, sacrificial sacrifice to the god. What the fuck am I talking about?
But ultimately, our view is it's a good step, it's a positive step, but there's more that can be done.
Just also know him. This is why every time they try to take him down, you use the N-word, It's like...
Joe Rogan is now apologizing after videos resurfaced of him using the N-word multiple times on his podcast, Patriot Takes, which put the video together as an organization that aims to expose extremism on the far right. The video is an edited compilation of different podcast episodes, and we have to warn you, this is very disturbing to hear.
Fortunately, everybody knows who Joe is. And he doesn't act as if he went to a fancy finishing school.
Just unbelievable. Let's bring in CNN's chief media correspondent, Brian Stelter. Brian, what is Joe Rogan now saying?
He is now apologizing, and we're going to find out if that's enough for Spotify.
People have hung out with Joe so many hours that you can't tell them something about Joe where they're going to say, wow, I'm going to believe the New York Times and not the hundreds of hours I've spent on the Joe Rogan Experience.
But ivermectin, livestock formulation, that's a horse dewormer. Literally, people won't take the vaccine because they're super suspicious of that, but they're taking horse deworming medication that they're buying at a feed store?
People get up to a certain level. And one of the things that's going on, in my opinion, with Joe Rogan is that when Joe Rogan starts to talk about his misgivings about Joe Biden, in a way that you find at any bar in America, about cognitive decline in a 77-year-old who's about to be 78, I believe in November. We have never had anything remotely as insane as a 78-year-old person slated to win the White House. The federal government destroyed Americans who had political beliefs that the government didn't want to continue. You're going to get bigger, and then you're going to get cut down. You're going to keep ascending for a while. The ability to destroy people who become inconvenient has been documented. This is what we have done in the past. I have been talking about the problem of Joe for a long time. The problem is that when the system wakes up, they're going to want to control it. And I'm worried about my friend. He's kind and he's tough, and he's no pushover.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I think the more you can do good things, right? The more you can be an agent of kindness and positivity, the more you're going to literally spread out the fingers and branches of love.
Right.
But I'm worried about Joe.